A lot of people have been asking me about my take on Camille Grammer. So my general take on Camille has always been that this is a woman who got betrayed or felt betrayed by other women from a very young age. My intuitive hit about Camille is that she learned from other women that her chief commodity as a woman was her looks, her sex appeal, her ability to land a man. Like these were her chief values and assets as a woman, and this is how she gets by as a woman. And my feeling is that Camille, in that place, felt objectified, sexualized from a pretty young place, is what I would guess. And she learned her lesson, and she applied it. You know, she learned to value those things in herself, and she learned to wield her feminine wiles in a way that was able to attract and land men. And what I then feel happened is that those same women, or that same culture of women who taught Camille, hey, use what you've got to get a man because that's your chief currency in this world as a woman, I feel like those very same women then resented Camille for actually wielding her power and getting the guy, getting the guys, using her sex appeal to advance in the world. Because they're jealous, right? There's competition there. If a woman feels, hey, my only currency is my sex appeal, of course you're going to be competitive and jealous with other women. So then there's this double bind for young Camille, for adolescent Camille, for tween Camille. It's like she's damned if she does, she's damned if she doesn't. She's taught, hey, use your feminine wiles, go out there, use this as your currency, and then she's shamed for it. And so it's kind of a lose-lose situation, and I think that's why there's such a deep distrust of other women in her. If you go back to her first season, Camille was always talking about how she felt other women resented her, how she felt other women were jealous of her. She's always been in power struggles with other women. I mean, there was a power struggle between her and Kyle. And if you remember, for Camille, it was really about winning. I remember that great moment where she got Kyle to lose her temper. And she said in her interview, you lost your cool, Kyle. I won, basically. There's this real dynamic in Camille about wanting to win against other women. So I want you to really think about what a lonely place this puts Camille in, right? Because on one hand, she's getting a message, one, that her only worth is in her sex appeal. And, that her value to men is about her sex appeal. She's going to be objectified by men. She's going to be seen as currency by men. She's not going to be seen for her intelligence. She's not going to be seen for, her perceptivity, her insight, her heart. She's not going to be seen for her worth as a human being. So already she's not being seen, heard, and held well by men. But on top of that, she's getting this message from the women in her life, who then see her as competition. So she not only doesn't have a safe space with men, she also doesn't have a safe space with women. And I think there's sort of a double-edged anger in there for Camille. I think there's one voice that's saying, hey, you know what? It's so fucking unfair that I'm not being seen for who I actually am. I have a voice here. I have things to say and to share and to offer. I have a heart. I have emotional resources. I have intelligence. I want to share that. And men aren't going to appreciate that for me. Of me. And then side by side with that is hey, women, you set me up. You're the ones who taught me I got to use all this sex appeal to go get the man, and now I went and got the man, and now you hate me for it. I'm here all alone. No one's got my back. So I think that there's a real underground rage in Camille. I think that she, on one hand, learned to value this experience of power that she learned. Yes, my power comes from my currency as an attractive, sexy woman who can land a man, marry a man like Camille Grammer, marry rich, get the wealth, get the fame, get the stature, and I'm gonna live this up and love it because it's the only power I've ever known. So this makes me that kind of self-involved, snobby, pretentious rich woman who loves having all this wealth and power, right? This is the only power I've ever known. And at the same time, unconsciously, I am so fucking pissed I'm in this situation. Like, here I am, I've married this man that I'm not really actually that attracted to. Maybe I'm not really in love with. This is what I had to do to get ahead in the world. I've done it. I've got the wealth, I've got the power, but I'm still not happy inside myself because I feel like I'm not getting seen for who I really am. And I don't really trust men. I don't really trust women. And all I've got is myself. In this power game, I'm playing against the world. And so I think what happens for someone like Camille, as she gets older into middle age, and as she finds that her approach to life, these structures, these counterfeit gods that she's invested in, the marriage to the rich famous actor, the false sense of power she gets from her wealth and her looks and her body, none of this is actually working out. The marriage collapses. She gets humiliated. You know, she's not the sexy young thing that she was when she was 20, 30, or even 40. And so Camille now has to kind of look around and see like, oh my God, I've got the wealth. I've got the fame. I've got the celebrity. Even now, I've got a new handsome husband. And I'm still not happy inside. I still haven't gotten what I've wanted. I'm still feeling all sorts of discomfort inside my own body. And I think we're seeing her really kind of like get unstable in context of the show. I mean, I do think it's worth mentioning she did lose her trusted assistant. Her house did burn down. She's been through a lot recently. She's also receiving a lot of flack from the other women. I think all of this combined with where she's currently at in life on her journey is really taking its toll on her. And I think we're really seeing her kind of flail around and lash out. All of that said, I do have to say, I do feel compassion for Camille right now. I feel a little uncomfortable with what's going on at the reunion, particularly at the end. It just seems so clear to me that Camille really is lashing out right now, and she's in deep feelings that I don't think have everything to do with what's going on in the show. So when I see her at the end kind of like really kind of yelling and getting aggressive with her words and having this huge reaction. And then there's Denise Richards on the other couch interrupting her and saying, God, why are you so angry? What's going on with you? Is she on something? I just kind of feel like, you know what, Denise, like I get it. Like you do have calmer presence of mind right now. And maybe you could use that calmer presence of mind to look across the room and see that this is a woman who's not right now in her right mind. And rather than kind of adding fuel to the fire and like poking at her by like questioning her about her anger, maybe you could just kind of let her run her mouth off a little bit, let loose some steam and kind of unwind. Because truly, Camille doesn't seem totally well right now. And it's just always difficult for me to watch a group of women who are a bit more self-possessed take in someone else who's not as self-possessed and be kind of firing at them. Like, what's wrong with you? What's going on with you? Answer for yourself. It reminds me a little bit of like early New Jersey with Danielle Staub. Like Danielle was crazy. You know, she was crazy. And yet the way the women treated her, it was like, it just reminds me of like ganging up on someone who can't really defend themselves. It's just it's a little bit ugly. Anyways, that's my take on Camille. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your take on Camille. Ask me any questions in the comments, and I'll be back with more of these quicker takes on the housewives.